I've seen too many of those games in the last few months and all that. Like we're nowhere near at the level we was last season. Nowhere near at the level that we was at last season. Now you can say it's a penalty or not, Dan. I don't care. People can turn around and say it's a penalty, right? I've never ever seen a penalty given for a clash of heads before. I've never seen a foul given for a clash of heads. Now, when someone tells you, "Oh, we got to the ball first," every single time there's a clash of the heads, someone gets to the ball first, but it's never given as a foul. Right now, people can go, right, oh yeah, it's a definite penalty, right? I'm going to go along with that case that it's a penalty then, right? If that is the rules, that's a penalty. I watched Spurs versus Newcastle yesterday. Anthony Gordon penalty is 100 times worse than what I see yesterday, but it's not given. Why? Why is that not given then? Why, when people turn around and go, it's a penalty, I want you to turn around and go, yes, you think that's a penalty, right? And you're in the chat now saying it's a penalty, Arsenal fans saying it's a penalty, fair enough. I want you to come and explain to me why that is a penalty and the one at Newcastle and Gordon is not a penalty. Now, before anybody starts going on about, oh, it's all about Spurs and all that, Spurs game yesterday, I turned it off. It's a disgrace that goal is given for a handball, Dan. Right? Let's fact it like, you know what I mean? I've seen Arsenal games when VAR are checking for a handball. You know what I mean? Kai Havertz last season's goal was given for a handball, right? A handball against Aston Villa, checked. Now I hear the rules. If it's accidental and it's what's going on in this world? You know, I see a game against Brentford last week when we shoot from 20 yards. It hits Martinelli in the chest and VAR are checking for a handball. What are they checking for a handball when we now see that handball yesterday? What are you checking it for? VAR is corrupt. It's crap. It's finished. It's ruining football, right? I see a penalty. Don't get me wrong. Chelsea last week. We all want Chelsea to lose. You telling me that's a penalty against Ipswich? Are you telling me that's a penalty? Right? And anybody that wants to say, oh, yeah, there was minimal contact, right? There's minimal contact in every sport, Dan, in every game of football. Right, you know, there'll be a clash of heads today somewhere. I guarantee the referee just blow the whistle and stop and just make sure the player's all right. Did Anthony Taylor go over and see if the player was all right, or did he give a penalty? Give the penalty. I've seen it 100 times. Yes, there's contact. Yes, after a scrutiny of 600 times, Saliba gets a little touch to the ball. It still doesn't matter if he gets a touch to the ball or not. It's not a penalty because I've never seen a penalty given for a clash of heads. When have you ever seen a clash of heads given as a penalty?
Never. I've never seen it, Dan. All the times I've been watching football, I've never seen a penalty or a free kick given for a clash of heads. I've seen it when an elbow goes up and things like that. I see a week ago, Pedro try and elbow a player. That's all right. No problem. You know what I mean? Like, what is going on in football? It's being ruined, mate. It's being ruined. I actually watched the game yesterday and I'm coming home and I'm going to be really honest with you, Dan. Arsenal's football at the minute's boring. It's boring to watch. Right, I'm put it out there now. It's boring to watch. It's side to side. It's side to side. It's side to side. It's never going nowhere. It's very, very was predictable, but it's coached so very well. Everybody knows what they're doing, but it's not fantastic to watch, Dan. That game yesterday was freezing cold, right? And there's nothing that really got me excited about a game of football. You know what I mean? We scored a goal. I've looked at that 3 times. You telling me that the goalkeeper's not fault for that? If that was Raya, would you be happy with that goal? I wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Not at all.
So it wasn't a great performance. So let's get away from the refereeing situation. We are not playing well enough. What did that front three do yesterday that you could turn around and go, wow, yeah, we're in for a chance of winning. I watched Liverpool the other day. You know, they look like they're going to score every time they go for. I don't see Arsenal looking like they're going to score every way. It's like training, right? This is what they do at training at Arsenal, right? Right, pass. If you get to 100 passes, you get a goal. That is not how football works, Dan. We've all played those possession-based games. It's a possession-based game that we play, right?
it don't necessarily win you games of football. Because if you ever look back at the Brentford game, we had all the play, and the first shot they get, they score.
So I look at the manager yesterday and I see nothing, Lee. I understand. I was annoyed at the time, but I understand that Nwaneri's injured. So I understand why he had to come off. Frustrating, but he had to come off because he's injured. But he's tried absolutely nothing to change that up. Partey's still playing at right back. Nothing to change it up. No Miles Lewis-Skelly coming on, even in midfield. Even if you want, and I don't like him, I know you're a fan, but I'm not a fan. Even bringing Zinchenko over a little bit of legs in midfield to try and give us something different. But no, we don't see it. Just like for like substitute. Martinelli on. Odegaard on. The other two come off. Brilliant. Right, like for like again. Let's just keep going. It's a joke, mate. Look, I'm going to go into the penalty incident next, but I don't know what your thoughts are on what I've said because I'm just lost with it, mate. I'm lost with it, if I'm honest.
I can't argue with what you said there. The only thing is, like, you've got to look at it and go, right, okay. Trossard last season, towards the back end of last season, when pressure was on, was outstanding. Shadow of the player he is now. Like, I didn't even know he was playing then. You know what I mean? I had to ask, is he? Is Trossard playing? I didn't see him. I criticise Mourinho. People are having a go at me like they played well. I want more from a midfield player than what I see from him yesterday. I want more from Jorginho, but like Jorginho's 34 or 32, 33, plays a different role. But you're right, Dan. Like, you take it. He took Partey out of that midfield, right? And how can I say it? Like, we see that midfield against Bournemouth. It didn't work. Right, I don't know if it was the same personnel, but it was certainly the same. I think it was the same personnel, if I'll be honest. Three holding midfield players. Didn't work against Bournemouth. Why are you doing it again? Give me a reason why you're doing it again. You've got no players to do it. Yes, you have. Skelly plays in midfield. That's his role. That's where he played all through his youth football. Give him the go in there. I'll tell you what, I say this now. And I'm not having a go at Mourinho when I say this because I think he was okay yesterday, like, you know what I mean? But Miles Skelly might be just okay. You know what I mean? Like, Liverpool have stuck in people like Curtis Jones and players like that and have got a tune out of them. Why can't we do that? Why can't we just take sometimes in football, you I've got no options and you put someone there, it works and you think, wow. And it's something you do. Maybe done that with Wayne Yearwood.
Let me ask you this then quickly, right? Because you've been a coach. I haven't been a coach, right? I know a lot about football, but I don't to the level of you in terms of coaching. And I'm certainly not to the level of Clive or Graham when it comes to tactics. If I said to you now, Lee, we've got a bit of problems here, mate. We've got a bit of an issue at right back. Do we lose our midfield totally by bringing our best player out there and putting him at right back? That's one option. Or do we keep our midfield together because it's needed, because you need that to dominate a game of football, and try one of the young kids at right back, or try one of our left backs at right back? Would you advise that we completely destroy our midfield by putting him there? No, it's the last thing you want to do, surely.
Listen, if Odegaard's fit, right, I get it. Right, I get it. I can go like, this is the conversation that I would have had if I was a manager, right? Yeah. Okay, right. We'll take Thomas Partey out at right, put him at right back. Our midfield will be Rice, Mourinho, and Odegaard. I'm happy with that midfield, like, yeah. The doctor comes in. Martin's not well. He's not really that well, like, you know what I mean? Okay, right, okay. Right. That changes everything, right? Scrap that up, right? My opinion's there right now. Hold on a minute. We've got no Odegaard. We better bring Thomas Partey in now. So we play Thomas Partey. It ain't ideal. Rice. And maybe...
I would have put Nwaneri in the Odegaard role and then Martinelli and Trossard either side of Jesus.
That's what I would have done. If you want my honest opinion, I don't think... I think that they're accidental clashes. And I see why that they haven't give that first one. But what I'm saying is, if you're giving that one on Saliba, then that one's a penalty, stonewall penalty. If I'm watching that, you go, how I can put this down, right, is that you go into a classroom, right? You're at a class, right, of refereeing, right? You're in there. put these two up on the screen, right? What one's a penalty, what one's given as a penalty and one's not, right? You're going to go Anthony Gordon all day long. No, that's wrong. It's the other way round. I don't understand that. If you've either got
they're either both penalties or they're both not, right? Can we agree that?
Exactly that. If you're giving, you know what I mean, if both are penalties, right, I think that, you know, that's clear. You still got people saying it's a clear penalty when you've just shown, right, that he's headed the ball first. Right? There's still people in there saying that that's a penalty, even though he's touched the ball, which clearly say it. But I can see why people are saying it's a penalty. I'll go along with that, like, you know what I mean? Where's the consistency then? Out of the two, I'm watching that and I'm thinking that's a stonewall penalty. If that's a penalty on Saliba, that's a stonewall penalty. Why is that not one been given? Can someone answer me that? Why is that one not been given? Why are people in the chat saying one's a penalty and one's not?
Because they're saying that he's head-butted him. They're saying he's head-butted him. He hasn't head-butted him, has he? He's gone for the ball and he's been late. If you want to call that a headbutt to me is a malicious Zidane headbutt on Maserati. Yeah, that's what that for me on Materazzi. That's for me headbutt. He's gone for the bloody ball and he's touched the ball. I didn't think he did. I thought I've never seen it happen before. I've never seen one given before. Maybe we will never will again.
Well, let's see if we do. I've never seen before. Listen, if you go for the ball and you miss the ball and take the player out, it's a penalty, right? You know, that's on that theory. That is exactly right. What you're saying, like that's what people are saying. So I get that, right? So I'll tell you what. When there's a clash of heads, right? Yeah. Why is there a clash of heads in the middle of the field and no one does anything, right? It's not because someone's gone to headbutt someone. They've both gone for the ball, might both missed it. One might get it. How many times you see someone head the ball and then go, I've got a scar on my eye here where I went up for a header and someone smashed into me, like, you know what I mean? Wasn't even given as a foul. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this then. If Saliba goes down rolling around as well as Pedro and they're both doing this, I bet you nothing's given. Head injury to both players. Let's check they're both all right.
That's exactly
That's what would happen. They wouldn't go up as a penalty. Did you see Saliba headbutt him?
It's a clash of heads. The clash of heads has never been a thing. I can see why the referee, to a certain degree, has given it because you know, I'll be really honest. Pedro does really well, in my opinion, to make it look a lot worse than what it actually is. So, you know, it is unbelievable that this referee. Then I'll see some fucking unbelievable things against Arsenal. He sees a foul for Kivior at Liverpool in the last minute. He sees a foul there, like he sees this one. You know what I mean? Like, and then he missed something down the other end. You know what I mean? Great ref he is. What I'm saying is that VAR should look at that and go, hold on a minute. I see why you've given it, Anthony, but on video evidence, we can see he's touched the ball. That's the end of it, right? Then the one at Anthony Gordon, VAR have turned around and said, yeah, we're happy with that. Really? You're happy with that? If that's the case, the one against Chelsea, the dive. You know what I mean? Like, I can see a referee being conned or making a mistake on that. Like, VAR got a screen 15, 16 times. You know what I mean? Listen, I don't think it's a penalty, even though, you know, there's evidence now that he's touched the ball. I think it's a clash of heads. I've never seen a clash of heads given for a penalty. Right, I've seen it now. We're seeing penalties every week now because someone's going to win the ball, bang on the head. Oh, hey, I want a penalty. Straight away, ball goes up in there today. Man United play. Oh, he's touched his head. Penalty. Will not happen, Dan. You will never see another penalty for the clash of heads like that again. If you can anybody in the chat quickly off their heads turn around and say, when was the last time a penalty was given for that? Come on. When? You can't remember, nor can I. Right? Can you remember the last time a player was booked for 2 bookings in the same movement? I can. Martinelli at Wolves. Name another time it's ever happened in football. Come on. Never. And this will never, ever be a penalty ever again. Ever again. And that is a fact. Because I've been watching football. I've played football at a good level and all that. I have never known a penalty for a clash of heads be given. Never, ever. Anybody that's come up now and says it? Tell me when it is.
People are saying Gabriel got one. That's completely different. Fabianski punched him in the head. That's nothing similar at all. I don't know why people are mentioning that one.
What is that? Oh.
That wasn't a headbutt. He punched him in the head.
We're talking a clash of heads. I've never seen it like, you know what I mean? Gabriel got one against Brentford the other day. There was a clash of heads. You know, when you looked at it, it wasn't a clash of heads. It was he led him with his elbow. Not enough to be sending off and all that. But it wasn't a clash of heads, free kick given. When there's a clash of heads, I've seen blood on 2 players in the box. Straight away, people on. I've not, what is the result of that? A drop ball. Someone's hit someone. Dan, it's either a free kick or a penalty now, isn't it? If there's a clash of heads anywhere on a football field now, it's a free kick to someone. Or so if it's on the edge of the box and 2 players clash heads, it's a free kick to whoever that. It's got to be. Because the clash of heads happens all the time. I'm not making excuses about it, whether you think, like, I'm not making excuses on Arsenal's thing and all that. We're just talking about an incident. Did it affect the game? Yes, it did. But Arsenal should have played a lot better and won the game. We're not saying that. We're just saying that I want to know when a clash of heads has ever been given as a foul before. I can't remember. Certainly not as a penalty. But there'd be a clash of heads today with 2 players like today. I hope there is. By the way, I hope they're all right. But they're clash heads. And I'm interested to see what the referee does, who he gives the foul to. Because it's got to be a foul, Dan, because they've clashed heads. Someone's won the ball, someone hasn't. When you have a clash of heads, someone wins the ball. Yes or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, I won the ball when I won the ball, like, when I've done my iron. I've won the ball.
Or they both miss it. They both miss it.
Or they both miss it. Right? There's still a clash of heads. So you go down, the referee turns around and goes around and turns around and says, "You're both all right, get the physios on," and all that, like, you know. And you still got people in the chat now saying it's a penalty. Right. Anybody that comes on the chat now and says it's a penalty, tell me then why it's a penalty and the one against Gordon's not. It's all right saying it's a penalty. You turn around and say it, like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, you know, it's not, in my opinion, it's not a penalty. But listen, football's about opinions, Dan. You know what I mean? In my opinion, don't mean nothing. It's the referee's opinion that means it, and VAR.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, let's
listen, we're not blaming. Look, listen, you get idiots in the chat, and you are an idiot when we just turn around and for 15 minutes and said we're not blaming the result or that game on that decision. We're not. We're just talking about it as an incident, blaming refs and blaming decisions. I'm not blaming. Arsenal did not lose or draw that game yesterday because of epoxy. Arsenal did not win that game, or I'm going to say now, did not deserve to win that game, right? Did not deserve to win that game with the performance.